Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we are doing something totally different. We are going to treat your Cambridge mathematics exam literally like a courtroom. Whether you are tackling syllabus 0580, 0606, 4024, 4037, 4040, or our primary focus today, the 9709 AS and A-level math, you need an airtight strategy. My goal right now is to help you build an absolutely undeniable case for top marks, specifically when it comes to vectors. So whether you are finding the magnitude of a position vector, calculating a tricky dot product, or mapping out a complex displacement journey, I want you to think of yourself as the barrister. The examiner? They're the judge. And you're working out? That is your irrefutable evidence. Imagine two students facing a real Cambridge past paper question. We'll call them Alex and Sam. Alex? Total brainiac. Overloads the page with raw mathematical facts, but provides zero actual analysis. And Sam? Sam just rushes right in, completely misses the command word requirements, and throws down an answer. Both of their papers are covered in red pen marks. We are going to fix that today. Let's get right to it.
Okay, let's dive into exactly why this matters so much. Vector questions. And by that, I mean the whole shebang, covering magnitude, unit vectors, displacement, and position vectors, account for a massive 15% of your total Paper 2 marks. Let that sink in for a second. That is a huge chunk of your final grade. It's not just some passing secondary topic, it is a fundamental pillar of the entire exam. If you can master this section, you are literally well on your way to securing a top-tier result. This is exactly where our students Alex and Sam are leaving points on the table. They are losing that 15% because they don't know how to argue their mathematical case. But by the end of this explainer, you will.
Here is our strategy briefing for today. We're covering four main areas. First, the method mark strategy. Second, building your procedural framework. Third, the top 3 examiner warnings. And finally, the deconstruct, solve, evaluate method.
Section 1. The method mark strategy. Let's look at the evidence-based reasoning examiners actually want to see.
So, let's start with the absolute foundation of your case. Why do so many students struggle with multi-stage vector analysis? It almost always comes down to completely missing the intent behind the command words in the question. This quote directly from Cambridge brilliantly illustrates the point. Top-performing students exhibit connected conceptual understanding transferable to unfamiliar contexts. What does that mean for you? It means examiners don't just want the final magical number dropped at the bottom of the page. They are actively assessing your knowledge, your application, and your analysis across distinct cognitive domains. They want to see exactly how your brain works. When a question says show that or evaluate, you can't just do what Alex does and dump facts, or do what Sam does and rush to a numerical answer. You have to connect the concepts.
And this brings us to the ultimate game changer, the method mark strategy. Cambridge examiners have literally designed the marking scheme to reward your analytical process and clear working. This means that even if you make a minor arithmetic slip at the very end, like say you accidentally drop a negative sign while calculating a coordinate, which happens to the best of us, if your logical framework is clearly laid out, you still secure the vast majority of the points. Your working out isn't just some scratch pad math, it is the core of your legal argument. It's essentially the Peel framework: point, evidence, explanation, link, but adapted for mathematics. Your point is your formula. Your evidence is your substituted data. Your explanation is your step-by-step working, and your link is the final context-driven answer. Before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now.
All right, moving into Section 2, building your procedural framework. This is the standardized sequence for technical methodology.
Imagine those red pen marks on Alex and Sam's papers actively transforming into green check marks. That is what this slide does. This is your standard operating procedure for tackling any complex vector problem, and it's your mathematics success blueprint. Step 1. Deconstruct the question. What are the command words actually asking? Step 2. Extract the relevant data. Step 3. Select your analytical framework. Step 4. Execute with clear notation. And Step 5. Present with correct terminology. If we give Alex 60 seconds to try again and force him to use the sequence, he stops dumping random facts and logically breaks down the given information before rushing to solve. Just like a top-tier lawyer wouldn't dare walk into court without organizing their exhibits, you shouldn't start calculating until you've clearly identified the key elements.
Now check this out. Notice how perfectly your procedural actions must align with the strict conventions Cambridge examiners demand. When you execute your analysis, the strict convention is clear working and explicit notation. This is absolutely crucial with vectors, where a missing arrow above a letter or forgetting to make it bold literally changes the entire mathematical meaning of the expression. When you present data, use proper headings and exact terminology. And when verifying results, appropriate formats and clear annotation prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that you speak the mathematical language fluently. Stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCS to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2-3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to acetheexams_IGCS and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions.
Okay, let's keep the momentum going with Section 3, Top 3 Examiner Warnings. We need to avoid the fatal flaws that will absolutely ruin your case.
Let's turn this into an interactive workshop. Even the best barristers face cross-examination, right? So let's look at the critical flaws that can absolutely tank your case. This isn't guesswork. This is hard data directly sourced from the principal examiner reports for the 9709 syllabus. Let's do a quick data scan. If you had 60 seconds to look at these flaws, what's the core trend? First, answers are frequently too vague. Examiners are literally begging for specific details. Second, students just plain forget to check format and presentation conventions. And third, the answers provided are not specific to the context given the question. The trend here is a lack of precision. These are the traps that demonstrate exactly where those precious method marks bleed away.
Let's look at that last pitfall a bit closer and play Find the Flaw. A classic exam mistake is providing generic, vague math answers without any link to the problem scenario. This is what happens when a student memorizes the formula but completely ignores the actual question being asked. Contrast this with providing specific details logically linked to the given context. If you had a 30-second timer to write one perfect paragraph about a vector question asking about the displacement of 2 ships at sea, your final answer needs to actually make sense in the context of those ships. It can't just be x equals 4. It is a vital reminder that you must always link every single mathematical point back to the scenario. Finally, Section 4, Deconstruct, Solve, Evaluate. It is time to deliver your final undeniable verdict. For our final section, we synthesize everything into an ultimate problem-solving framework. Think of this as your final cheat sheet recap. There are 3 rules that guarantee top marks here. First, command word decoding, which fits right into step 1, deconstruct. Identify all given info. Next, framework application, which is step 2, solve. You break the problem into logical steps and work systematically using that Peel-style logic we talked about. Finally, the time management matrix comes into play in step 3, evaluate. You must budget time to pause, check your answer for reasonableness, and justify your conclusions. If your vector calculation says a tiny particle traveled 3 million miles in a 2-second interval, your evaluation step should immediately catch that something has gone very, very wrong.
Look, top-scoring candidates demonstrate true evaluative thinking by doing exactly this. They don't just calculate. They question assumptions. They consider different mathematical perspectives or alternate approaches to the same vector problem. And most importantly, they justify every single one of their decisions with rock-solid mathematical evidence. When you adopt this specific mindset, you are transforming from a stressed-out student making a desperate guess into a confident, authoritative barrister proving a mathematical fact. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to burn this visual story method into your brain. The next time you sit down to practice a multi-stage vector problem, don't just rush to find a number. Ask yourself, is your final vector answer merely mathematically correct, or is it contextually undeniable? Students who implement these mathematics strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos. Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCS to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to @acetheexams_IGCS and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Drop a comment below with your target grade for mathematics and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams. Your Cambridge success starts here.